welcome to the third episode of Ask Alicia Anything. We have a ton of questions this time, so I'm going to pick a few to answer for you, and don't forget to keep sending them in. I love answering your questions. Okay, so let's get started. First question today it's from Lisa, and she asks, when you are writing, do you need silence or noise? I am a silence girl. I have lots of writer friends who write in like cafes, like they'll go to their local Starbucks or maybe Panera or something like that, and they just write the day away. I would get absolutely nothing done because I'd probably be people watching the entire time instead of writing. So I definitely need silence. Kind of everything happens up here for me. The scenes kind of play out in my head as I'm writing them. So I definitely need silence, or the outside world trickles into what's in my brain, and it doesn't always end up good. Kind of convoluted mess of things sometimes. So yes, thank you for asking that question. It's a great question. And yes, silence for me. Here's another really good question. This one is from Paula, and Paula asks, how many hours of research does it take per book? This is a hard one to answer because I think each book is a little bit different. For example, in the Blood Secrets series, some of the research I did, particularly for the second one, involved Ireland. And so, I went there and I researched and sort of kind of made a map of the place in my head and a kind of a visualization of the people and that kind of a thing. But as far as like researching, as in studying a certain thing, it really varies. And I do it as I write. I don't research first and then write. Sometimes there are elements I have to look into before I start a certain scene or a certain section or part of the storyline. For example, I had to read up and learn a little bit about WITSEC, the Witness Protection Program. So I did have to learn about that. I knew nothing about it. So I did some reading and some Googling. Thank you, Google. And that kind of thing. But I don't know like if I've ever pinned it down to like how many hours of research it takes. For Fractals, the book that I'm writing, finishing the edits for now, there was very little research involved in that. I did send some emails to some law enforcement friends that I have, and they were very helpful in just answering specific questions. But as far as research, most of that came kind of as the book evolved. There's also an element of human trafficking in Fractals, so I did have to do some research for that. But as far as hours, that's really hard to pin down. I'm going to have to try to do that now because now I'm interested in wondering how many hours I do actually spend researching versus writing. So, Paula, thank you for asking the question because now I'm going to try to figure it out next time. But as soon as I know like a certain hour number, I will let you know, I promise. So thank you for asking that question. And I hope that wasn't too crazy an answer. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. This is from Diane. Diane asks, why did you want to become an author? From the time I was a little girl, I pretty much always had a little bit of a movie or a play or whatever you want to call it, a storyline going in my head. Maybe that's because I was an only child. And so I had to keep myself busy and interested and use my imagination a lot. And so I think that's just part of who I am. And moving on in life, I went to school originally in theater. I was in USC's theater program. That's where I started. And then eventually came back to Ohio State and got my bachelor's in communications. And then I worked in advertising for a little while. But I didn't really get that, how do I want to say this? That kind of imaginative spark was kind of missing from the communications. I think I got it when I was doing theater, and I probably would have been very happy continuing to do that, except, I would have been broke and living in a box somewhere. But other than that, the imaginative aspect of it, the creativity of it was definitely for me. And then I went into teaching. As you know, I'm a teacher. So there's a lot of creativity in teaching. And I think theater and teaching, particularly young students, go hand in hand. Because you do kind of have to be on. You have to be ready to do whatever it takes to engage them. And so that really helped for quite some time, use that creative spark in me. And recently, I realized that I needed more. And so I think that is why I actually said, you know what? I'm going to write a novel. And when I started, this would have been back in like 2009, 2010, I had no idea whether or not I would ever get that novel done or if it would be worth anything when I was finished. But I loved the process of it. I loved creating the characters, exploring their worlds, and that was exhilarating. And it still is exhilarating, which is why I'm still doing it. And I didn't give up on just the one. So I think I wanted to become an author because it really spoke to that creative part of my brain that needed that stimulation, that kind of constant, how could we make this happen? And writing does that for me. So I hope that answers your question. I wish I could pinpoint it to a specific, event in my life where I was like, I am going to be an author, but it doesn't really work that way for me. It kind of was a slow process, and I've done a lot of exploring in terms of careers in my life. So I think this is just part of that. And I'm very happy with it because now I can explore all kinds of things and still teach and still write. And so that makes me very happy that I get to do both. It's exciting. So thank you for asking that question. And I think we have time maybe for one more because I don't want to keep you on here too long. Oh, this is a fun one. Cats or dogs? Dogs. We have two dogs. Louis is our toy poodle. My husband calls him Louis, but Louis is his name. And we have Colby, who is our miniature Australian Shepherd. And I will try to insert a couple pictures when I edit this video so that you can see them. But they really make our lives pretty special. And Louis has quite the personality. So dogs. I've had cats. We have cats now. None in the house. My husband doesn't allow them in the house anymore. So we have some barn cats. But I did in college have a cat named Keelan, and she was pretty much my best friend in college, and I still miss her. So I do enjoy cats as well, but I think I'm more of a dog girl. Thank you. These have been great questions. Um, let's see. I could do one more. One more. Okay, just one more. What is your biggest pet peeve and guiltiest pleasure? I might make people mad. I don't want to make people mad. Okay, this is weird, but my biggest pet peeve is when people ask for a favor and instead of just saying please and waiting to see if the other person will actually do the favor, they're like, please and thank you. And I'm like, what if I don't want to do the favor for you? Like, I totally would, but yeah. So that's a weird pet peeve, I know, but yeah, the whole please and thank you thing. No, not for me. I'll say please and I'll say thank you, but I'll say thank you afterwards. Okay, guiltiest pleasure. Okay, that changes from day to day. Right now, my guiltiest pleasure is watching Lucifer. I get nothing done. I watch Lucifer, and then, yeah, it's a time suck. But it's really good, and I enjoy it. And so if you haven't checked out Lucifer on Netflix, you have to, because it's fun. Yeah, so thank you. Please keep sending your questions. I love answering them. And I will see you soon. Also, if you want to keep track of my progress with fractals, make sure you join the Facebook reader group, because that's where I'm going to be posting like snippets of stuff as I work through this editing process. So I hope you are enjoying a little bit of insight into my process as I write and edit fractals, and I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.